Hi, I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you my tools for Parchment Craft, get my words out, and different tools and things that you need to have a go at doing it really. Now Parchment Craft I learned a good 16 years ago. I remember doing it when my little girl was a toddler, and she's 19 this year. So so I've been doing it a while. I'm not the best parchment person in the world. I'm just going to be able to just tell you what I know about it really. So this is just an overview. I might do some videos actually working on a piece. I have something to show you that I'm working on at the moment anyway. So I'm just going to show you these different tools and some books and things that you can get to go along with it. So I'm going to turn the other camera on. There we go. Now, these are all the books that I've got. And now, within these books, they have tips and techniques, patterns, and how to progress on with doing things. So let's go with just this top one as it is. Now, as you get them, like in the back, there's got all different patterns that you can. I think these are ones that you can buy from the actual Pergamano company themselves, and the different books that you can get. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of different tools and things. But as you go through, start from the beginning. These are all the people behind it, and that just tells you a bit more of the tools and things that are there. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of different tools that you can get, but you don't need them all. So this is really why I want to do this video, is because just because you've not got all the official tools and things doesn't mean that you can't do it. Let's see if I can get to the first thing. So in this one, it shows you some 3D projects to do. Now, if you're just starting out, I would say go for something a lot simpler. The 3D ones can take a lot of practice, and I've not really done all that many of them. So hang fire. I know it's all exciting when you're wanting to start learning a new craft. Get down your skills of techniques and how you work with it before going on to the really advanced 3D projects that you can do. So it's amazing the different things that you can do with just, well, it's parchment, not paper, but so what it'll do is it gives you these different patterns that you will draw around with. You can actually get a Pergamano white ink. You can use other colours as well, but I just use a white gel pen. So if you've got any of these, that's basically the same, and you don't have to wait as long for it to dry. And because I've got quite twitchy hands, it was sort of like a fountain pen nib, I think the original one that came out. I found it quite hard to do that, whereas this, because I wasn't worried about it dripping, I could do it a little bit more slowly. Whereas with the fountain pen style tool, can't remember the name for it now. I was constantly, because you have to dip it into the ink pot, and then I was worried that it was going to drip onto it if I pressed too hard. So this cuts that out, and it just makes it a lot easier. Plus, it's a lot cheaper than the. So yeah, if you've got one of them, you can do it. So the first thing that you're going to need is parchment. Now, there's different ones that you can get. So this is something that I'm working on at the moment for a card for someone. You can get it from different places. It's got a different texture on either side of it. Now, you want to you do your drawing on the rougher side, I think that is. I always have to remind myself when I'm doing it. Yeah, the rougher side of it is it's not really rough, but you can tell the difference. It's the side that you want to draw your image on, and then you flip it over, and the back side of it is more waxy. So it's easier for your tool to glide across. So as you can see from there, that's probably better than me holding it up in the air. So this is the back of it, and I've drawn on the other side, and now I'm just working on all of the different strokes and different things that you use. This is just a really basic one. Now, the thing that it's attached onto is an embossing mat. Now, before I got this is the official one. I've only got this recently. I use. Let me just take it out as I've been doing these. So you can use, like thick pieces of foam, mouse mat, something like that. Just something that's soft, but not too soft that you're going to go through the parchment. So that's another thing I'd say when you're doing it, you're learning the amount of pressure that you can put on to get different looks. So that's something else. So when you're doing a 3D project, you really have got to have got the original techniques down before progressing onto it. Unless you want to go onto it, that's absolutely fine. That's just my recommendation of doing it. So yeah, you draw around your image and then you do your different shapes. So this is probably one of the more advanced books, but it's just doing a lovely Christmas tree. It looks like you've made it out of doilies. So you could actually use toilets to do it. Fair enough. Yeah. So like it'll say here, this is a full scale pattern. This one's been reduced. Make a copy at 125%. So if you've got a scanner at home, so you can print it out bigger, then do it that way. Or your local library usually has a photocopier in, so they might be able to help you, and so you've got your pattern the right size for doing the projects. But there's lots of different pictures and things that you can do, and they're just so cute. But it's sort of like making, looks a bit like lace when you've done the more intricate things of doing them. So you've got some crackers there as well. But in each of these books, they generally come with, the basic. Yeah, this is probably the more basic one, and it shows you the different tools that you can get. Oh, this is it. So the tracing. So as you can see, let's zoom in a little bit closer on this one, and then just make sure that you're there. So you've got your little fountain pen type thing there, and then you're tracing around the image on your parchment. But it'll give you a list of the other things that you're going to need to do each of the projects, and then it'll tell you the different strokes and things to do with your different tools. Now, once you've got your pattern all traced out and done that way, let me just I'm surrounded by stuff on the floor, so trying to move around a bit hard at the moment. So this is where I keep all my tools in. Not really going to see much from that one, but this is where I keep it all in. And there's grids, there's mats, there's these things. I've recently acquired these. This is just so you've got some quick templates for, say, if you're wanting to do some edging and borders and things on the cards that you've done, and you just want to finish it off. You lay that on top of your parchment and a piercing tool, and go through the little holes, and then you'll get your pattern. So they're a good thing for you to be able to use anyway. But the main tools that they sell are these. Oh, that one's stuck. Can't get that one out. Okay. So you don't have to have all these official ones. I am going to show you some different ones. But these are mainly the pricking tools. Is that right? Piercing tools. Like say piercing rather than pricking. But if you see there, I think might be better on. Trying to get it so the light can see. You have different shapes. Let's see if one of these is better. So that one's got 4 needles in, and it's in the shape of sort of a little square or a diamond, depending on which way you put it round. Sorry, the kids next door are playing football up against our fence, and it's rather noisy, so I do apologise. Right, so going on. Yes, this one it's a triangle with lots of needles in it. If you can hold it that way, then you can see. But each of these have got a different one. So as you're going around your pattern, you pierce with the different needles, and then you'll get a pattern at the end of it. Or say if you're wanting to snip out a little bit of the parchment in a separate area, then you will pierce it pierce around it with these different little needle tools, and then use a pair of snips to finish cutting it out. So like I said, it ends up making it look like lace. So yeah, so that's in an S shape. I really could do with actually marking on them what the shape is, but so I don't have to keep taking the lid off. What's that one? Oh, that's a teardrop. So with all of these, again, you just carry on making your patterns. So yeah, that's all that they're there for. But I managed to find these really, really cheap at what's it called? Recycle Yard, is a place that I've mentioned before. And they basically have stuff that's been donated or that's not wanted, or things that you wouldn't usually think of as crafting supplies or just oddments that's left over. And I was looking, I dropped on all of these really, really cheap. So that built up my stash of these tools. But the other thing that we need is some embossing tools. Now again, the Parchment people have their own. I'll put the man off the main company, and that's one of them. And that basically does a what would you call it? A perforation sort of like, like when you get something that's perforated and you have all those little dots. That's what that does, and it's on a little roller. So it's a tiny little roll. You can just basically roll it along your parchment, and it'll make some little stipples into your work. Or this one, this is the hockey stick, for obvious reasons. it's the hockey stick shape. And then these ones, what's that one? But this one is actually out of a nail kit that I've got, and it's got a nice smooth edge on this side, and then it's got sort of a smaller hockey stick on the other end. But I thought, oh, that'd be good for parchment, and it works fine. So don't think you've got to get all, the branded tools. It's like the bolt. That's a branded one. I don't know what that one's for, putting more of a like impressions into it. All you can see there. So they're the official ones, but it's just basically these, like different ball tools. Now all these little pink ones were out of the same nail kit that I got that from. So I've just used it, and they've just got different size ball tools in. And then these ones are obviously, these are bigger ones for if you're doing more of your 3D projects. So this is what I'm saying. If you're just starting out, you're not going to have all these different tools. But if you just want to try it, find things that that you've already got around your house or your studio that you can do the technique just to see whether if it's something you like. So don't be going out and buying absolutely everything on the tools, and you might decide that you don't like it, and then you'll have wasted your money. But then you might take it up, which hopefully you will do, and this has inspired you to have a go at it. Now, something else that you need to make your... let's turn that one off now. Now you can just listen to me. Yes, so to make your ball tools go across the page smoother, there's like this sort of waxy... can't even remember the name of it really. It's a bit like Vaseline. The little tins of Vaseline, that sort of stuff. It looks like that, but it's a bit harder. But instead of that, I use a wax tea light candle, and all you do is basically just rub your ball tool against that, and then it'll make your ball tool slide along the paper or parchment a lot more easier. Now, the other things that you can colour your parchment. So there's different ways that you can do it. You can use regular blending pencils and pens and things like that. Oh, let's put this back on. I forgot. So I'm going to show you these ones. Oh, there we go. We're back. So these are from that recycle yard place that I showed you. They're quite old, these ones, and the box is a bit battered. But I got them for 50p. Whether if they're still, I'm sure they'll still work fine. They just need a bit of cleaning up. But some of the other ones that I've got, these are probably a newer make them. So that's stencil pastels. That's going. So if you're wanting to do actual, they just feel like wax crayons, really, to be honest. Again, these ones I got from there, but these are just shaped like your wax crayons. But it's just for you being able to go through different stencils and just do different patterns. It's got more of a waxier consistency than normal wax crayons, if that makes sense. It's sort of more of a thicker one, I think. It's got more pigment in it anyway. So, and you basically you do that more on the reverse side of it. So on the front of the picture, so like the side that you're going to see is a more muted colour. And these ones, these are the chalks. Yeah, it's sort of like a waxy chalk. So that's the only thing. Because that's the thing, I think the paper, because it's quite waxy, needs something that's going to go on it as well. But you get some lovely colours in it, but these are the newer versions that they brought out of them. This is the original box from when I first started. This is the box that I recognise. So when I spotted them, I was like, oh, I need to get them. And they weren't that when they first came out. They were a lot more expensive. So hence why I didn't get them. So if you can land on getting some cheap, then that's fantastic. But you can use sort of like wax-based pencils, wax pastels. You know, the regular sort of wax pastels. You might be able to use those. I've not tried that yet, but they're basically made of the same thing anyway. Now this, show you that one there, Graham, is a set of their pens, and it had a pattern with it. So they just look like Celtic markers, really. But it's for if you want a more vibrant look, I think. So yeah, that's some of the pattern that came with it. Oh yeah, lovely pattern. I'll have to go ever go it. Ooh, can't do it. Why do it that way? Let's look at that below there on the side of that. So yeah, that's just another option. So, but you can use pencils and pens, fine liners, pretty much anything that you use regularly for on the art side of thing. You just have to take into consideration that the parchment's got wax on it. So you have to think about whether if it's actually going to trap the colour onto the page and it's not just going to smear. So before you try anything that's not an official Pergamano thing, just get like just a scrap piece of parchment and just test it on it, and then just see whether if it's worthwhile putting it onto your work. Now, if you're using the pastels and the chalks and things, then you need something called dorso oil, and that's basically what you use to blend it. And you can use a bit of cotton wool, or you can use a makeup blending sponge. What else can you use? You can use paper, tissue paper. But if you haven't got dorso oil, it's got a nice smell to it. So if you can get hold of that it is nice. But I've just used baby oil. So again, that's a cheaper alternative to the actual dorso oil. But the dorso oil just gives you that nice smell as well, if you want that to be on your work. So I think that's pretty much all that I need to talk to you about with it. This is just some practicing that I was doing, so just different techniques. Can't even remember how I wrote this. I've still got it in here anyway. But yeah, that's just what I mean. Just have a spare piece of parchment where you can just practice a different technique and drawing and punching out your different shapes and things. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I need to tell you about it. Yeah, so if you don't want to get all the piercing tools with all the different shapes on it, you can just use a single piercing tool. I can't remember which one it is now. That it's, that's it. Have a look at first one. And it's just got that one needle on it. It'll take you a lot longer to do all the different shapes, but you can do it with just that one. So if you want to buy just that one, then do that. Another alternative is probably using a pin. So if you got some polymer clay, you could try setting some polymer clay setting a pin into polymer clay. So you've got a bit of a handle So there might be something I'll have to have a go at doing, seeing whether if that works. Now I've made needle tools before, but I've used T-pins, so I'll have to see whether if they work well with a pin to do it on. That's something that I'll have to have a go at. So I hope you found that useful. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them as best I can. And if you're interested in seeing me actually working on one of these pieces, then I'll be happy to comply with your request. Yeah. Oh, one thing that I haven't shown is the grids. I just remembered, and these are for piercing through. I think it's for doing sort of like more regulated borders and things like that. I've only got these ones recently, so I've not used them yet. But the different sizes, the gaps in between. So it's for bigger patterns and smaller ones. So again, that's something that I need to have a play around with. So that might be something I can do on a video, so you're learning at the same time as me. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, you consider subscribing, that'd be appreciated too. And if you are subscribed or considering subscribing, click that notifications bell and you'll never miss a video when I post something new. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye.